2 years ago today, civilian Palestinians in Gaza began marching against the inhumane living conditions created by Israel's illegal 12-year siege of the Gaza Strip. They march as refugees from Israel's ongoing project of ethnic cleansing to reaffirm their right to return to the lands from which they or their relatives were once expelled or forced to flee. Each time, Israel has responded with indiscriminate force. Protesters are met with a militarized fence that entraps them within Israel's land, air, and sea blockade. Live fire and artillery shells are often used in an attempt to crush the demonstrations. Israel has killed over 260 protesters and injured more than 29,000 since the 30th of March 2018. Those killed include journalists like Yasser Mataja, killed while taking pictures of the demonstrations, wearing a flak jacket clearly marked press. Medics like Razan al-Najjar, killed whilst treating wounded demonstrators. And children like Yasser Amjad Abu al-Najjar, aged 12, who died after being shot in the head by Israeli forces. The UN has condemned Israel's gross violations of human rights, stating in a detailed investigative report that they may constitute crimes against humanity. The majority of Gaza's population are refugees, many from the Nakba, Israel's foundational ethnic cleansing. This was when over 750,000 indigenous Palestinians were forcibly removed from Palestine in 1948. Hundreds of Palestinian towns and villages were destroyed, dozens of massacres took place. Today, refugees trapped in Gaza are denied the right to go back to the land from which they, their parents, or their grandparents were forced to flee. The blockade is illegal under international law and responsible for creating inhumane living conditions. Half of Gaza's population live in poverty. 97% of water is undrinkable, and Gaza's health system is in crisis, with shortages in 61.5% of medicines deemed essential. The UN repeatedly warned that if nothing changed, Gaza would be uninhabitable by 2020. We at the Palestine Solidarity Campaign stand with the demonstrators and demand an end to Israel's 12-year blockade of the Gaza Strip. We demand the implementation of the right of return as enshrined in international law. Israel can only maintain its oppression because of the support it gets from complicit corporations and governments across the world. In the UK, Palestine Solidarity Campaign is leading the fight to hold them to account. We're taking on financial institutions like HSBC that invest in companies that provide Israel with weapons and surveillance technology. And we're pressuring the UK government to take measures such as introducing a two-way arms embargo with Israel to stop its violent human rights abuses. We can only continue our vital campaigns with your support. Become part of the movement for Palestinian human rights. Join us by visiting join.palestinecampaign.org today.